All right, welcome to another film breakdown. Duke versus Florida. Sorry for the delay. Work's been crazy this week. End of the year is always crazy. My workload will lighten up in January and February to where film breakdowns will hopefully be the next day instead of waiting a day or two after the games. But I was in attendance for this game. If you see where it says "Wheels Up" in the smaller font, the second one on the left, right above the W, there's your boy. So I was on courtside. I was sitting courtside for this game. Awesome atmosphere. Front court for Florida was a problem, as we will break this down, or I will break this down for you guys. Just a great game, great high level game. Duke is now 2-0 in their gauntlet of Arkansas, Florida, and they play Michigan State tomorrow. So this is Friday that I'm recording this, and we're gonna go right into it. Like I said, high level game, and just a few clips in the first half. Most of it's going to be in the second.
Gators with Boogie Flan, the Arkansas transfer, bringing them into the front court. Alex Condon strong to the rim. The follow no good, but Ruben Chinyulu's got it again. And this is the strength of the Gators.
Like David Shoemate said, strength of the Gators, and it showed up all night. This is actually the only two second chance points Florida had in the first half, where Chinlu had this for putback, and they had 10 offensive rebounds in the first half, only 2 second chance points, and there they are right there. But I knew, like at halftime, yes, Duke was up, 13 or 12 or 13. I knew that was not going to sustain because Florida was dominating Duke on the glass and had no second chance points outside of that one. And then obviously they had 13 second chance points in the second half, took the lead, and we'll get into that later in the video.
Gators this year in his last 5 games, averaging better than 13 boards per contest. Again, the big front court with Hauck playing at the 3. Klabjar, catch and release.
So this is just a really good set by Florida. Malik Brown's making his guy. Look at his guy trying to post up. Malik Brown just shoves him to the 3-point line. They still start their offense like this, and what it is a double screen for Xavier Lee, and then the guard that's setting the first screen of the double screen is going to come off a pin down on the opposite end. So here you go. There's the first screen for Xavier Lee. Then he's going to come off second down screen. Darren Harris does a really good job of slowing Xavier Lee down to where he can't get through on the double screen, but Hauck does a good job of his reverse pivot and finds the free shooter coming off his pin down. 3 hit by Florida here. Just a really good action by Todd Golden to free up his shooter, and Florida makes Duke pay.
Our catch and release, and the Gators with Leon. Open in the corner, Foster. Rebound, Condon.
The ball movement was great, and Caleb Foster coming off perhaps his best game.
Whoa, Thomas Hauck. Thomas Hauck. A little shot fake, drive, and a slam. Evans in transition.
So sequence not great, as this dunk was right in my face. As you see the A, I'm right above the A, and honestly, I thought Hauck traveled right here, but it happened so fast. But live, I mean, I thought the catches 1, 2, maybe it's clean, but live, I thought it was a walk. Regardless, Hauck is a hooper, and Hauck just comes here, rips through, blow by Darren Harris, punches the rim. And then Duke gets out and goes right here. And look, I love Slim shot making ability, but in a big game like this is just not a good look. 27 on the shot clock, contested 3, and just, kind of a waste of possession. But shout out Darren Harris fighting through, keeping the ball alive, and Duke does end up scoring off the hustle play by Darren Harris. But, punch by Hauck, and then now Duke's got to go out and push. And I just thought that was a bad shot by Slim, but shout out to Darren Harris not quitting on the play and stealing a possession for Duke.
Rips it away from Handlockton. For the Blue Devils as Foster walks it into the front court. Duke undefeated at 8-0. Florida 5-2. Lost their opener on a neutral court to Arizona as Gungba gets it.
All right, Gungba 2 for 2 from 3 in the first half. The third 3 will be on this film breakdown too. Don't you worry. But this is highlighting Caleb Foster like I've done throughout the year so far. Just so good at getting deep right here. Like, look where Condon is going to try and be a shot blocker against Caleb Foster. His guy gets hit by the screen. Foster's going to make Florida pay. There's 4 guys in the paint or around the basketball right now with Caleb Foster. So a pick and pop 3 is automatic. And if Gongba can knock that down consistently, it just opens up the floor for Duke.
That paint is crowded due to Handlock and posting in there. There's nowhere to go.
The cut by Gongba, and it goes.
Again, not much to the first half, really. Duke kind of just like their matchups here, and Caleb Foster blows by Hauk. Cam Boozer does a good job of sealing his guy to make it a screen, basically. And then Xavier Lee just was bad all night. Just very bad defense here. I mean, he's not even looking at the top of the key, the guy that he's guarding. So the easiest cut for Pat Gongba. Just a plane ready for takeoff right here as Xavier Lee is going nowhere. Like, I don't know where the hell Xavier Lee's going. Just terrible feel for the floor on the defensive end. And he killed Florida. He killed Florida on both ends all night. But this is just, bad defense by Xavier Lee that sets up a wide open layup for Duke.
Defender, because that paint is crowded due to Handlock and posting in there. There's nowhere to go.
The cut by Gongba, and it goes. Lays it in. Boy, is he working hard.
Everything they're running is to get him to his right hand. And Duke putting good pressure on the ball, so Fland and Lee have not been able to get much.
He's got 13.
Really love that shot for Caden Boozer. Caden's been struggling lately in these big games, but here, getting downhill, floater at the ACC logo, nice touch, and something that I really like to see from him.
Their last 13.
Those are contested, but Florida's got to go up with those right away. Taking time to gather and shot fake isn't going to work.
Again, Boozer and Handlock. Left hand this time, and it's a...
Todd Golden and Florida like their matchups one-on-one with Cam Boozer in the first half, and Duke took it to them. 6 of 9 from the field in the first half for Cam Boozer, and you just give him that much space to work with. Duke does a really good job of just 4 guys clearing out, and now Cam Boozer has the whole right side of the floor to just go to work. Even when he loses that ball, help side is way too far away to make an impact of it, and now he just patient, finish with the left hand. I'll say Alabama. Florida made really good adjustments in the second half to make Cam Boozer work for it, as we'll see. But here, just in the first half, everything was easy for Cam Boozer and Duke on the offensive end.
Difficult to force a great player in one-on-one coverage to one side. And you certainly want to do that. But when it's just one-on-one, Boozer is a load to deal with. In the NBA, they used to say, don't let Ginobili go to his left. He got there anyway.
Duke just plays so well with, this isn't a play. This is just, they kept the ball alive, move without the basketball, and Duke is so good at moving without the basketball here. Isaiah can't get it on the handoff, so he just continues his cut. And then Pat Gongba, a hell of a passing big man, just threading the needle to the cutter. Duke has the best passing front court in the country, and you see why with Pat Gongba right there to Isaiah Evans.
Player, really good with that step back. But he's had a ton of pressure on him for most of this game.
Boozer the kick. Hamenya can't get by Hauk. Boy, Boozer initiating the contact with Chinyalu, forced it up.
So here, look, Cam Boozer shot, I forgot what he shot in the second half. I know he was 10 of 21 from the field in the game. But he was 3 of 9 from 3 in the game. And honestly, I just think he shot ill-advised threes at times and turned down open threes. Like the 9 3-point attempts does not concern me because I thought that he had those looks. He just shot the wrong ones at times. And here, right here, he catches, shoot that. They want you to shoot it or they're daring you to shoot it. It's a short closeout on you to where they're ready for him to drive. And Florida does a good job of walling him up. And, the space is not great for Cam Boozer. Some contact for sure, and he wants the foul call, but that's a good defensive possession by Florida. But I just think Cam Boozer should have shot that open 3, as you'll again see in the second half. It seems like he turned down good looks from 3 and kind of forced his way around the rim and got him in trouble sometimes.
In that first half, they did get some drives, but that slot area gives you a little bit more space.
And it's down to single digits early in the second.
And then that's a 3 where I feel like it's forced. So the 9 3-point attempts, some were bad. Some I would say is a bad look. And I would count this as a bad look, basically a step back three here, low percentage shot, whereas the one in the previous possession was a catch and shoot. This is just not a good look. This is the one where, you know what, get downhill. If it's not open, I wouldn't shoot that. But look, it's a learning experience, and Florida battled back and made Duke pay because of it.
Condon one-on-one with Gumbo. To the left this time.
Against Arkansas, I said Pat Gumbo was too straight up on a three-point play in the second half, and kind of the same thing here. Condon makes Pat Gumbo pay. Gumbo is just straight up. Look at all that room. You got to own that space. Who's going to own that space first? It's going to be Condon. Just shoves legally Pat Gumbo into the restricted area. Nice reverse pivot. Nice left-hand finish by a talented front court player. But that's something that Pat has to work at better. I know he had 5 block shots, but he's got to be a better rebounder, I think, around the defensive end. And then so does Cam Boozer. But Pat needs to do a better job here defensively to not let Alex Condon just dictate where he wants to go with this basketball. Easy 2 points for Florida, and they cut the lead to 5.
And I would think he's saying that their offense has not helped their defense, but Florida, I thought they ran by some opportunities in the first half.
Just an outstanding set by Jon Scheyer. Duke scored 18 points after timeouts in this game, and here's 2 of them right here. Jon Scheyer just X and O'd Florida out of timeouts. It's just a pass from Cam Boozer to Malik Brown to Nick Haminia. And what it's going to be is Cam Boozer's going to cut right through. He's going to cut right through. And then who's going to cut right through after that is Isaiah Evans. But this, with Isaiah cutting like this, it looks like Duke's doing the flare screen action for Malik Brown with their shooter. Instead, it's just a cut by Isaiah. So Florida is not really ready for it once Isaiah's cut through. Now it's just a backdoor screen. Caleb Foster does a good job of screening Malik Brown's guy. Boogie Ellis does not drop down, leads to a dunk. So Boogie Ellis, good Lord. Boogie Flan needs to bump Malik Brown, obviously, right here as Condon is screened by Caleb Foster. Results in a wide open dunk by Duke. Just a great set by Jon Scheyer after the timeout.
Lee got his man in the air. Plenty of time to line up a 3, but he can't hit it. Rebound, Shinulu up and in.
Again, that's how Florida stayed in this game. Duke forced tough threes, or Florida missed open threes here. Xavier Lee, 1 of 10 from the field. This is an open 3, but even that step back felt a little unnecessary for Xavier. I went a little too far, as I always do. But here, just feel like he'd have to go back another 2 feet. He could have just sidestepped. Deep 3 misses. Duke has 4 guys in the paint, but 3 are kind of watching the ball. And then Florida just outworks Duke, gets the offensive rebound. And that's how Florida seemed like they just came back in this game.
Takes up so much space. It's hard to block out both he and Chinulu. This is just a fabulous offensive rebounding team. And as long as it's not a long rebound, it's advantage Florida to get that board.
Lee hit the deck. Evans is free, but he misses the 3. Malik Brown, the offensive freshman.
Yeah, and it cuts right there on Himinia's 3-point attempt that he misses as well. But I wanted just to show, Duke had good looks, right? Xavier Lee goes flying here, but it's a really good job by Isaiah to counter Xavier Lee being aggressive here on this screen. Xavier Lee's going to fight through. So what does Isaiah do? Isaiah just stops on a dime. Xavier Lee gets his feet tangled up. Wide open look for Duke's best 3-point shooter. He misses, but good job by Malik Brown and Nick Haminia to keep the ball alive. Then Nick Haminia has an open look from 3, and he misses as well. But Florida's comeback came from their hustle on the offensive boards and then Duke's inability to make open shots at times. And there was 2 right there where Duke had good looks and just couldn't knock them down.
Very interesting game here. Florida back within 2 after trailing by as many as 14. Over on ESPN2, Tennessee and Syracuse in the battle in the SEC.
Isaiah couldn't get the 3-pointer to fall until the very final play of the game, but he's so good, and he was so good against Florida here of getting off a dribble handoff and just attacking the rim, get downhill. Such a good finisher this season, Isaiah is, and I was very impressed with this part of his game. I've been impressed with this part of his game all year, But against a physical Florida defense, I left Duke feeling a lot better about Isaiah's ability to score without having to settle for threes.
The ACC SEC challenge
with a great job of screening off the weak side help.
Gumba. He's hit a couple of threes tonight, now driving on Hanlogden. Threads the needle inside to Brown.
Again, Duke just has the best front court passing bigs in college basketball with Pat Gungba, Malik Brown, Cam Boozer. Florida does a really good job of playing defense. They had Duke struggling to get clean looks early in the shot clock for the most part of the night. I mean, just good job of fighting over this screen. Isaiah's not open on the curl, so he passed to Pat Gungba. Now Duke's kind of just standing straight up, doesn't know what to do with the basketball. Malik Brown's trying to set a screen for Dame. Houck does a good job taking that away, so now Gungba's going to go to work. And good job by Malik Brown moving without the basketball, catches Condon looking at the ball, backdoor cut. At the end of the day, it was simple basketball. Pat Gungba drove. Condon looked at the ball. The offensive player went backdoor and got burned.
For Florida, look inside. Condon, no. Houck has it and lays it in.
And again, offense rebounds, second chance points for the tell of the tape for Florida in the second half. I thought live in this game, this angle doesn't do a good job of it, but I thought this was a dead ball foul on, was it Houck or Condon going for this lob? He misses the lob, but he's hanging on the rim, and then he reaches for the basketball. There it doesn't look like he's reaching for the ball, but in person, his right hand was going for the ball as he's on the rim, which is, I thought it was a dead ball tech, but regardless, it was going to bail out Duke, and Duke did not deserve it because nobody's going to crash the offensive glass, and it results in 2 points for Houck because he out-hustles Duke right there for the loose ball and gets 2 points.
Couldn't find the basketball right behind him, and very opportunistically, Houck picked it up. Now Fland with a steal.
You know, like I said, the last couple of games, Caden Boozer just kind of played like a freshman, which is, for me, is kind of what I expected this season. He had a couple good plays in this game, but here, Boogie Fland just does a good job of harassing the basketball, rips it, gets 2 points. Florida's down 1.
Pass or two. Tipped away by Sarr, and back come the Blue Devils. Evans return.
Just good play by Dame Sarr. He had a quiet game, but he actually, I think he was like plus 10 on the court for Duke. But just a great defense play by Dame Sarr, keeping active hands on this switch, knocking the ball away. Isaiah keeps it, and then just, again, Isaiah getting downhill for Duke against this Florida team impressed me. And here he's turning the corner, though he's at three-point line, just a great lob touch to Pat Gungba and go get it, big fella. And I'm surprised I did not stand up on press row when this lob was thrown right in my face because I could not believe how high he went for that.
Returns the favor to Gumba.
But now you got to get back on defense.
Returns the favor to Gumba. Great ball movement by the Gators. And again,
Like, you just cannot knock this Florida team out. Like, Duke just – the building erupted on that lob, and now here comes Florida transition. Duke's got to hustle to get back. Cam Boozer stopping the ball, dump down, good collapse in defense, blocked by Isaiah, but good hustle by Houck, be at the right place at the right time, and that 5-point lead where it felt like there was momentum is gone within 5 seconds. It's crazy how hard Florida played every time they looked like they were left for dead, that Duke's going to go on a run in Cameron. Florida just bounced back and showed the mental fortitude to be in this game all the way down to the wire.
Houck saves it, gets it back, has it blocked.
Gungba has just been a wall inside.
Another Gumba feed, but this one too tall for.
You know, that it's kind of like a time and place thing here in terms of like throwing this lob, because like it's there, right? It's 50-45. Xavier Lee gets caught cheating, this is the read. This is the read, throws it a little too high, but I felt like Dame, if he would have went up with 2 hands and rather than trying to catch it with 1, and then he pinned the ball against the backboard. I don't know who. I guess both are at fault here. I think Shire was not happy with Gongba throwing this live. I'm pretty sure. And then Dame, look, just jump and catch with two hands. If you got to come down with it, come down with it. But just kind of, I think it was the right read for Pat, but maybe don't throw it a lob. Just throw like an overhead pass to hit Dame in the numbers and he lays it in. But the right read in the offense just not well executed by Pat Gongba and Dame Sarr.
Smart to break contact and get around and knock that away with the right hand.
Bonjar can't get where he wanted to go. Gave it up.
I mean, just Houck is a hooper. Duke's up 9. Cam Boozer just had a pick 6 where he went to take off and he slipped and luckily didn't hurt himself and made the basket. And so Duke's up 9 again with 9 minutes to go. Place is just going crazy. Florida is getting nothing offensively right here. And then Houck just, are you kidding me? A power dribble step back, cuts it to 6. And then Duke goes right here. Foster, that's a good look, but he misses. Now Florida's running. And that 9-point lead within 40 seconds goes to 3 just like that because this Florida team, dude, they battle back. They battle back.
This dribble finds Flanders. Deep one with the shot clock running down. Another offensive rebound. Handlocked in that time. And they've got a fresh 20 to work with here.
And Isaiah Evans did a good job of fighting him on that switch.
Out tried.
All right, so a lot to dissect right here. I say a lot. It's really 2 things. Pat Gongba, like I said, just kind of straight up on rebounds on the defensive end. He's just always kind of standing straight up. And this, look, doesn't have any leverage here. This guy gets the offensive rebound. And now Florida, I'm going to try and fast forward to the inevitable slap in the face with a double foul. So throw to Houck. Rip through on Cam Boozer, and then they call this, foul on Pat Gongba, dead ball technical on Houck for slapping Gongba in the face. Todd Golden wasn't happy with it, but, I mean, it's the right call. The elbow hits Gongba in the face, and it's a foul on Gongba. But he's clearly got hit in the face, and he's on the floor right there. He's telling Shai to review it. I watched him on the floor just pleading to review it, and Duke did and won the review. Now, I don't know the rules with the dead ball technical because though he got elbowed in the face, I guess they couldn't call a double foul or overrule the foul on Gongba because he's in the restricted area. Like, I don't think you can call anything an offensive foul in the restricted area. That's how my dumb brain analyzed this, but I'm probably wrong. And so that's why Florida got a dead ball technical here instead of overruling Gongba's foul call to give an offensive foul call. But Florida made 2 free throws. Duke made 2 free throws. And I thought at the end of the day it was the right call because Gongba got elbowed in the face.
Good defense. Boozer left it.
Can't shoot that.
Short, Florida ball.
A really good defense by Ruben Chinyelu on that drive to stop it with his chest.
Playing with a tough mid-range.
There was a couple of times in this game where I thought Boogie Fland was going to show up in my nightmares and be the Boogie Man because this is just snaking the ball screen. Caleb Foster does a good job of staying with Fland. I mean, that's a hell of a contest on a midi in a 4-point game with 4 minutes left. That's just unbelievable touch by Boogie Fland. He was out of his mind for Florida in the second half, but Cam Boozer, he doesn't have that in his game, at least not in college right now. He shot one of those against Kansas, was it? And it looked funky. And this is it's just a low percentage shot for him. I mean, it just doesn't have the touch. And Boogie Fland goes right down the court and makes Duke pay as long as, this video does not lag like it's trying to right now.
On that drive to stop it with his chest. Playing with a tough mid-range shot that goes. Urban Klapchar on Isaiah Evans. He's not going to leave him.
Again, Boozer one-on-one with Chinyelu. Chinyelu knocks it away. Boozer finds Foster. They still have time. Now 5 on the shot clock. Boozer misses the 3. Knocked out of bounds by
Chinyelu had Boozer just second guessing most of the second half. He did a really good job on Cam the whole second half. And here I thought again, Cam turned down a good look. Boogie Fland and Chinyelu are on the ball. Shoot it. Shoot that. Cheney Lou's not going to come out there. Look at that short closeout. But Cam was looking to drive, and now he's looking. Cheney Lou active hands, swipes it away. Now the possession is in frantic mode, and Duke has to kind of throw a grenade up at the rim, which Cam Boozer does against Cheney Lou. And you know who gets the rebound? Cheney Lou. So he was outstanding. He was the Energizer Bunny for Florida defensively, the anchor for Florida, but he really had Cam Boozer struggling throughout the second half. And right here, Cam Boozer is thinking, how am I going to attack Cheney Lou? Kind of falls asleep, gets the ball ripped out from him.
Pokes it. Flan takes a bump and hits.
And it leads to a Boogie Flan two-pointer. Now it's a tie game with 2:30 to go.
Get the defender on your hip, lock him down, and knock in the mid-range. Great play by Boogie Flan.
A 6-0 run for the Gators to tie it. To shoot. Gamba to Boozer. Boozer 4-3 and Duke.
But Cam Boozer is a winner. And Cam Boozer, throughout his playing career so far, in high school, AAU, whatever, Olympics, like the guy just wins. And after like 3 possessions of not great plays from Cam Boozer, he makes a huge play in this game. And again, he is shot ready. He is being aggressive here. Cheney Lou is not going to come out there and try and block this shot. This is in rhythm. This is a good look from 3, and that's kind of what I've been saying throughout this game in this film breakdown. But what I wrote in my notes in the game was felt like Cam Boozer was turning down the easier threes and settling for tougher ones. Like he was 3 of 9 from 3, but when it's fluid like that, it could have been 5 of 9 from 3 rather than shooting what I thought were probably about 4 or 5 rushed ones.
Right now on the Florida sideline, trying to motivate his players on defense. A minute and a half to go. Boozer will drive it this time and score.
So now he just hit a 3 against Cheney Lou. Now he's driving against Cheney Lou. Why does he get this drive, you ask? Because he just hit that 3. So look how Cheney Lou's guarding him. Cheney Lou is now outside the 3-point line with his hand up. He is way too high. Cheney Lou's a really good defender when it comes into certain range of the floor, but he is way too high guarding a guy that can put the ball on the floor. And so now Cam Boozer has the angle. Cheney Lou tries to stay in front of him, but Cam Boozer's just so strong, finishes right through the contact. And I'm telling you, it's because he just hit that 3 the previous possession. So Cheney Lou's trying to be active and try and reach and make Cam Boozer off balance. Cam Boozer uses his quickness, or he's quicker than Cheney Lou right there, and finishes right through contact. Just a really good cat and mouse game between those two guys.
With now 1 minute remaining in regulation.
They're going back to this zone. Cheney Lou in the middle.
Laying off of Gumba. He'll step back. He'll take it. Florida ball.
Look, it is easy to be like, Pat, why? Right? That's just kind of what everybody's reaction was Pat, why? But you know what? It's not Pat's fault. Scheyer said after the game that the zone execution was poor for Duke, and here's just a prime example of it. Because you tell me watching this, what else is about to happen here with 7 on the shot clock? Nobody is moving without the basketball. I just complimented Cam for his 2 back-to-back possessions against Cheney Lou. But Shirer's telling him, hey, go over there. He's either going to get a flare screen from Malik Brown or something. Him and Malik Brown can change up or like switch spots or whatever, but have some sort of purpose in the half-court zone offense. Nobody's moving. There's 49 seconds to go. There's 7 on the shot clock. So it's kind of like Gung was like, okay, nobody's moving. He's leaving me this space. I'm 2 for 2 from 3. I agree it's not a great look, like what the look that Duke wants in this certain situation, up 1 with 49 seconds to go. But nobody else is moving or showing themselves to the basketball as clock's winding down. So Pat Gungba settles for a 3, and it comes up empty-handed. But as you can see, Scheyer just is telling Cam Boozer to go off a flare screen that Malik Brown will inevitably give him, and maybe even a backdoor cut. But It's just Duke was stationary outside of Pat Gumba holding the basketball. He had to shoot a grenade, and it's just a bad execution. It's poorly executed offense for Duke against the zone late in the ball game. So now what happens? This is on Pat Gumba. Wrong defensive assignment or wrong defense against this ball screen action is what I'm trying to say. I'm losing my words here 30 minutes in. Wrong coverage. There we go. I got there. Wrong defensive coverage off this ball screen with Boogie Flan. Pat's got to be up with his assignment. He's got to be up to run Boogie Flan off of this three-point attempt. I mean, it's just way too easy. He's in drop coverage, and he should not be in drop coverage. And so Boogie Flan just steps right into it. Like, they get the stop on the defensive end. Cale Foster's hit by a screen. Pat Gumba's got to be up there to stop this from being a three-point shot, let alone a walk-in wide-open three. And now Florida leads by 2.
Side, he'll get a little slice cut. Here it is, the back screen. They're not going to go for it.
Foster gets it back to him. Again, it's Chinyelu defending. Help from Klajon. Evans for three.
Jon Scheyer, right out of a timeout, just was awesome. Like I said, all night. This is the same action Duke ran against Kansas right before the half, where Isaiah hit a three on the go screen to extend the lead right before halftime. And it's the same exact play. Go screen. 2 guys jump on the ball with Cam because they're always worried about Cam Boozer with the basketball. Leaves the three-point shooter wide open, catch and shoot. That's what I love about Isaiah Evans is he could be 0 for 100, but he's going to shoot it every time because he has that confidence. And he's called Showtime for a reason. And what a moment for Showtime Slim up in Cameron Indoor.
Shot clock turned off.
Now watch how Cam Boozer guards this ball screen. This is the same exact thing that Florida ran where Boogie Flan stepped into a three with Pat playing drop coverage.
Florida with the ball down by 1.
Stopped it. Now they had to throw to Condon. Now they're scrambling.
Condon. Flan. He's been the go-to guy. Dribbling it off his foot.
Just awesome. Awesome. Duke had blown coverage. The previous offense possession with Boogie Flan where he stepped into a three. Now here comes Cam Boozer now is on the assignment, whereas Pat Gumba is guarding Chinyelu on the block. Here comes Cam Boozer, ball screen action, get up into the shooter. He does. Boogie Flan doesn't like the matchup. Now Florida's scrambling. Cam Boozer and Cale Foster now jump on the ball. They switch back, but Cam Boozer does a good job being aggressive to show on Boogie Flan, makes Boogie drop or dribble the ball off his foot, fouls. Cale Foster goes to the free throw line. He misses the first one on the front end, but you know who Duke has? Their Lord and Savior, Malik Brown, and Malik Brown does this.
Here we go. Deflected. Brown deflected it. And Duke wins.
I mean, it's just, he's so special. He's so special. If you don't follow me on Twitter, don't have Twitter, you didn't see it, but I talked to Malik Brown right after the game about this play, and he said that he wanted to dupe Thomas Houck with the ball. I'm trying to go right when he gets the ball. He wanted to dupe him and keep his hands by his waist. He wanted to keep his hands by his side, so Houck thought that he could throw it over his hands. And he said when he saw Houck put the ball up like that, that's when Malik Brown timed his jump, and you see it perfectly. I mean, it's just perfectly executed. He wanted to keep his hands low against Thomas Houck throwing this ball in. And he said when Thomas Houck rose to throw it up here is when he knew to time his jump. You see it right there. Ball deflected. Cameron loves it. Most importantly, Jon Scheyer loves it and just goes up to Pat. And that dap was so hard watching in person. It's just what a moment. What a moment for Duke. What a win for Duke. What a hard-fought game for Florida. Florida's a really good team. They got to figure something out with Xavier Lee. He's borderline unplayable. He's just going to have to come off the bench, I think, for them if they want to make a deep run in March. He's just not a guy that should be shooting 10 shots a game, especially when he's going 1 of 10. But Duke is figuring out ways to win in this stretch, and that is why you schedule hard non-conference games. So you can figure out your team and wins and losses. Duke has a tough challenge tomorrow at Michigan State. Noon tip-off. I was going to say kickoff because Duke football is at 8 o'clock, but noon tip-off at Michigan State. It's going to be a good one. I'll be right back here with a film breakdown on that one. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next breakdown.